So, hi everyone. We are live from Nottingham. We are going to meet the member, and our member is Simon Crowther of Flood Protection Services. He's going to tell us about his story, because he has got an amazing story of why he created the company and what he's actually done. But the other thing is, he is one of the judges for GB Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. Woo! And the reason he's one of the judges this year is actually he won last year. Check out his Instagram. What's your Instagram handle?
sim.crowther.
Sim.crowther, because there's lots of photos of Simon winning. We were there last year when he won, supporting him. So yeah, check it out. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, so Simon, since I keep getting the name of the company wrong, can you tell the viewers the name of your company?
Well, 5 years ago I set up Flood Protection Solutions. It was following, in 2007, my family home got flooded. We were out of the house for nearly a year whilst it was repaired. Our insurance claim was about £120,000. And we thought we never wanted to go through the upheaval, expense or stress that flooding causes. And at the time, we didn't actually know that we were in a flood risk area. 1 in 6 homes in the UK is actually in a flood risk area, and I think about 60% of people don't actually know. So we wanted to stop it happening again. We did a lot of work, put some walls around the house, fitted a pump in the drive, a non-return valve. But the main thing we did was imported a watergate barrier from Canada, because at the time, 10 years ago, flood defences were really, really slow or really expensive. So I came across a product called the Watergate and bought one. And then 5 years later, it saved the house from flooding, and it worked amazingly well. Everyone was saying to us, even the local environment agency, that's absolutely amazing. Where did you get it from? Because it took us literally seconds to roll it out across the driveway. I was quite young and naive. I was just starting a degree in civil engineering. And I just wanted to help more people with the product, and I thought it'd be quite easy to do, young and naive at the time. So I set up Flood Protection Solutions. We became the sole UK distributor of the product, and since then we've grown. We work with a lot of fire and rescue services now, water companies, and supply a various range of products, including a bit of consultancy as well, so that we can help as many people minimise their risk from flooding. Because in the 2007 floods as well, about 6,800 businesses were flooded, and 40% of the businesses won't reopen after an incident such as a flood. So it's a huge amount of people that it can affect.
Massive.
And you know, the economic impact, social impact. So to be able to help people is great. So
that was the why you created it, because you've obviously been through flood yourself.
Yeah.
And you saw the devastating damage that it caused for your family. Now, I want to pick up on something you said when you were young and naive. Simon, how old are you now?
23.
23. So for those of you watching, Simon is 23. So how old were you when you started the company?
18.
That's 1-8, guys. 1-8, 18. So that's very young to start a business. I know that we've got some young entrepreneurs in the clan. What was the most challenging things that you came across starting a business at that age?
Most of it is generally related to like general admin things. So I know you spoke to Ben before, he couldn't open a bank account. I had similar things with no one would insure us. And you know, when I've tried to get a fleet policy for all our vehicles, they're like, oh, we won't cover you. And it's like, well, I need to be on it because we're doing this and it hinders the company. So it's like battling with people all the time to take you seriously because you're young. And I think I struggled before when I was still at university because I didn't sort of have the necessary accreditation to back up why I wanted to do it. But then when I got my degree in civil engineering, it was a lot easier. And I think then people just assumed I was older than I was.
Because you look a wee bit older than you are.
It's all the grey hairs.
It's because you hang out with me. So, you know, we look at that. So it's 18, so you've had the business for 5 years. Today we're working on your sales strategy to take it to the next level as well. Can you tell them how much you're turning over?
Well, yeah, it's grown every year. I think our first year was about an £80,000 turnover, and it's predicted this year adding up everything we've done so far, it'll be about 2 million.
2 million, guys, are you listening to this? So at 23 years old, it's a 2 million turnover, starting his business at 18. So again, we've looked at the challenges. So, you know, there's people watching this who have businesses of all stages and are of all ages. So what is Simon Crowther's top tips for anybody that's watching this to do with business?
Just be focused and confident in what you're doing. There's obviously a reason why you've set it up, and make sure you portray that effectively to people. And if you're passionate about it, that will come across, and then people will believe in you and believe in the product or service you're offering.
So it's important to have the original story, because I think one of the things that gives you confidence was you used it and you bought it yourself, and you thought, actually, that can make a business out of this.
Yeah, I think that helped a lot. It was what's the guy called from Remington when he said he liked the product so much he bought the company.
Yeah,
it was a bit like that. I think because I'd used it, people were then more confident. So yeah, I think I went through a stage as well where I tried to shy away from that fact, and I was like, no, I want to be a serious business person. And now I've come completely full circle. I'm like, actually, be proud of the story, be proud of why you developed it.
Definitely.
So now if I'm doing a presentation, I'll start with a photo and be like, this is how we ended up, you know, being involved with the product, so I can show I'm passionate about it.
So a good story and passion. But one of the things Simon and his team have been doing, easy peasy sales online. So Simon's been on one of my courses and we did online. And I think some of the tips that you did, so, you know, if you have a look at sales tips and how you've integrated them into the business, because I know that you share the ethos with me that if you don't sell, you don't have a business. So what's the top tips that you've taken in sales that have helped you to get to that turnover?
Oh, open questions, I think. That's the big one for me, is your questioning technique. What are you asking people? Are you asking the right questions?
And as for the order, getting good at that one as well. So now we've bigged you massively up because you are one of the judges at one of the biggest competitions for entrepreneurs in this country, GBEA, Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. So I know that there'll be people, you know, people watch this live, but they do watch it on repeat, especially when I put it out last minute. So of the people that are watching, what are your top tips for award application entries?
Oh, firstly is actually just to enter. The amount of people that think, oh, I don't stand a chance, I'm not going to bother. But even just filling in the entry is like a great opportunity to see how far you've come, because there's different categories. And when you're filling in that category, it's like, right, what have we done? What have we achieved? And it gets you thinking, actually, what could we do more? So the first one is literally just apply. And then when you're applying is to just make sure your passion comes across. I think too many people now, you know, see being an entrepreneur as like a fashionable thing, and it's trying to blag it almost, whereas you need to have the passion of actually why you've set up your business, why it's a real business, and a good story as well as the financial information to back it up.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that, you know, we look at the awards, I mean, I know that you are very good at selling yourself as well, so...
Not quite as good as you, Alison.
No, not quite, but you're learning from the master. So one of the things is around, you know, what do you do if you get shortlisted? What's the important things to do in your business?
Hang on, what's your rule? Snog, marry, avoid. Go to the networking events before, find out who's good to talk to when you're at the event.
Yeah, so if you have a look at it, for GBEA, it's slightly different this year because they're doing some regional things. Yeah. But what they normally do is a shortlist event at RBS building in London, which is actually where we met. But that was
and what
2 years ago,
I always do
it?
as well is I find out who the judges are, connect with them all on LinkedIn, but don't necessarily message them and sound too keen.
Yeah.
But then I'll just make sure I keep posting regularly. So when they come to the judging, it's like you're sort of subconsciously aware of, oh yeah, I've actually seen that. And, you know, then they start to think, you're probably bigger than you are, and, you know, they know about your company. So when they come to judge it, they're already aware of it.
Yeah.
So the first thing I do when they publish the judges list, so they're all online at the minute. Someone's done it to me on Twitter as well.
Oh, have they? They're following it. Follow site. What's your Twitter handle?
At SC Crowther.
At SC Crowther. And also, what about your LinkedIn? What's your LinkedIn?
It's just Simon Crowther.
Simon Crowther. So already, if you are in the young entrepreneur category, I would get stalking the judges. So you know, that is an amazing, you know, amazing tips there. Also, you know, what do you do with it when you win? You know, where is your reward?
Oh, it's sat on my side at home. Every morning when I go for breakfast, it's there.
Yeah. And I won shortlist the year before. No, what was it I won? Special merit for service the year before. And again, those of you who watch and who have got businesses know that not every day in business is a golden day. But I think when you do win awards like that, or you do get shortlist, it just helps you to understand why you do it and what you've done.
I think as an entrepreneur, you're forever having a bit of a battle, because people either... We were having this discussion the other day of what do you tell people you do. Yeah. I was recently, a bit of a tangent, but I recently went to Wimbledon with my mum and sister, and they asked my sister, well, no, they asked me first, what did I do? And I said, oh, well, I'm you know, I run my own business. And the woman was a bit like, oh, and looked really disappointed. And then she asked my sister, and my sister said, oh, well, I'm a chartered surveyor, which people see as a proper profession. And the lady was like, wow, that's amazing, fantastic. Oh, you must be so proud of her. But to my job, it was like, oh. So I think as an entrepreneur, you've got so many battles like that where people don't quite take you seriously, or they don't know what to think. So then to be at an event, even if you don't win, but with like-minded people,
definitely,
you can all work together, all, you know, share good ideas, get like best practices, and actually drive everybody forwards. So we've developed quite a good like group of friends. Yeah. And we're always talking to each other about, oh, have you tried this? You know, what do you think to Google remarketing? Have you tried Facebook Live? What's working for you? And share ideas. So it's about meeting like-minded people and realising that actually you're not on your own and you should be proud of what you do. Yeah. And then, you know, when people ask you what you do, you are proud. You're not having this, oh.
Oh, do you know, and that's amazing tips. Like Jan de Jong's like giving little thumbs up all the time. And I think, because you talked about being young and naive, and he said, you know, what's naive about that? So again, the fact that you're saying you were young and naive, the fact to even start a business at 18, to me, that's brave and bold. Yeah. And it's perception as well, isn't it? Your perception to what other people see. So, you know,
I think the naivety is you don't realise you're being brave because you just imagine it's going to be easy, and you think, actually, I can make a real difference here, I need to do it. Whereas now, you'd probably question it more.
Yeah, do you think that comes with age though, when you start so young, that it's like jumping in a swimming pool, that you don't think about the fear factor, you just go, you are
and
Tom
you've got
Daly.
Less commitments as well, so it's like setting up a business, if you're in a well-paid job and you've got, you know, kids and a mortgage, it's a lot more risky tricky than trying it when you're young.
And you know, another point I think is important to get across in this, Simon, that a lot of people watching this will think, oh, right, you started your business at 18, you know, you're now turning over a couple of million. Somebody must have gave you money or funded this for you, or take investment. You know, can you share how much people put in, or how much investment you had?
We've never had any investment. We've never even had any grant funding. I'm only recently starting to look at a grant for adapting to digital change. It's probably a slight failing on my part. I'm always like, if we want to do something, we're going to do it now. I've never waited for a grant. But initially, I started it with a little bit of my student loan. I lived at home during my first year at university, and used my maintenance loan. And then it just grew from there. We were quite lucky because a lot of the people had seen us using the product and wanted to buy one anyway. Yeah. And then it just sort of grew from there. We only invested with what we had available. And, you know, we've never needed really to take on any funding, and it's allowed us to retain full control. We can do what we want to do when we want to do it, and actually drive the business forwards in the direction we want and see fit.
So, you know, I think today I really loved interviewing you. You sold yourself in, because we weren't meant to do Facebook Live today, but you've given some amazing top tips, like Ben saying, what an achievement, not only set up in business at 18, but with no funding. Pretty cool. You know, and I think one of the things that does come across really, you know, strong, you know, a lot of people think, and it happens with Ben Towers as well, that, you know, they think, you had handouts from your, you know, your family.
Yeah, which
you know,
we've not had any of at all.
No handouts at all. It's just amazing. if you are entering GBEA Entrepreneur of the Year
I'm
Awards.
accepting bribes now.
Yeah, only for the young entrepreneur category though, so I think I'm a wee bit old for that one. So in the meantime, from the place that starts with an M, which is not Norwich or Northampton, it is Nottingham, I have been Simon Crowther, and you have been
Alison Edgar.
and we wish you the best on a Wednesday afternoon. Bye bye now.
Bye.